I'm sure that by now you have heard many things about December 21st, 2012. Haven't you? Everybody heard something? Yes, you know, there are so many dire predictions around that day. Maybe some of you even saw the movie 2012, in which this man is trying to survive the end of the world. And so these predictions, they are all around this cataclysmic collapse of human civilization. And it's all partly based on the Mayan calendar, but there's many more things that have been taken into consideration by a lot of people. So when I was in the store the other day, this man that was waiting on me, he said, well, have a great day, because there aren't going to be too many more. I was like, what? And then he kind of whispered, like he wasn't supposed to say anything like this at all. Thank you. But he whispered, Armageddon. Okay. I said, you know what? If I were you, I'd concentrate on just having a good day. So here in this place, we have a different way of looking at that. We look at that as a time of spiritual transformation. This is the dawning of something new, a new consciousness. And so I say then that the power of intention is very important here. Because each of us has to ask, what is our power of intention? What is it that we are intending? So for myself, I intend that I am to give the best within myself and within the world. That this shift, whatever it is, I'm going to make it. I'm going to help to make it the best, so that we can live more authentically, more lovingly, peacefully, and creatively. This could be called spiritual evolution. We're part of that right now. We could also maybe call it a spiritual revolution. And I think that each one of us has something to contribute, something that will enhance life. If you're breathing, there's something for you to contribute. Now, what that is for you, I don't know. What it is for me, I know that one of the things that I must do in this life is find out what I love and then get busy doing it. To put aside all those other things. You know, there are so many things that are a part of our old life. We need to let them go. This is a path. This is a journey that we are on, and to me, the trend has been happening for quite a while, that we are on this journey of an ever deeper inclusive spirituality, something that includes us all. And this is a one-way street. You can't go backward. We're on it. We're going to keep on going. This is a way of recognizing our inherent goodness. This is a way of love, not fear. And this is a way of recognizing, too, that yes, we are human, but we are so much more than that. We are divine. And that is one of the blessings of being a human, when we discover that. Take off the cover of what is already there. That yes, we are expressions of the Most High. Every single one of us. But you see, that's also a challenge, because we get so wrapped up in our humanness, so involved with things of the world sometimes, that we have a hard time recognizing the truth of us. We get so hung up on all the things. Well, turn on the television. No. Okay, let's not. Let's not. Sometimes that's exactly what I say. No, let's not. Because we can get so involved in these things that it's not good for us. We are on a journey. And I'm going to say that this is not just an abstract quest. This is something of an inner necessity. for us to really truly live. Now, I'm not talking about existing, I'm talking about living. Not talking about surviving, but I'm talking about thriving. This is a time when you and I get to find that vital element in our lives. And what I mean by that vital element, is that truth of us. That truth that lives within. So in the Bible it says, in this, doesn't say vital element though, it says in God. We live and move and have our being. We can't get out of this even if we want to. So why not make the best of it? Why not make the most of it? Now there are some people, in fact I talked to one just the other day. And this woman said to me, "You don't really believe that stuff, do you?" Well, yes, I think I do. And so I said to her, if you have ever doubted the existence of a power beyond yourself, put your hand on your heart and feel the beating of it. Are you able to do that for yourself? Could you take over that function? Well, probably not, she said. No. I said, you know, there is something in you. Something in you that is beating your heart. There is something in you that is breathing you. You can't even do that by yourself. She said, I never thought of that. I said, no, we don't think about that. There's something in you that is causing the organs of your body to all function together. I know we take it all for granted. But when you think that, could I do that? No. And so that's something. What is it? What do we call it? Well, sometimes we do call it God. But I always have to add God within. Sometimes we call it the Christ. That Christ Spirit, the same Spirit that was in Jesus is in you and me. Sometimes we call it Father, Mother God. We call it the universe. We call it Krishna or Buddha. But you see, it doesn't matter what we call it. It only matters that we call it. That's it. There is that something. We could call it a true vitality. And it rests behind everything that we do in this life. It waits there for us to recognize it, for us to open ourselves to it, and then for us to let it do its mighty work for us. It is that something, that vitality that lies beneath everything that occupies us in this life. And oh, how we are occupied. As I said, well, if you do happen to turn on the television, or you read something in the newspaper, you're going to see how the world is depicted. It's a place of chaos, of confusion, a place of horror, tragedy, sorrow, conflict, drama. You know, in one of the classes we had here, you might remember that the conflict and the drama, they made a new word in that class. It was called conflama. Yeah, conflama, and there's lots of it in the world. And it's something that, yes, we do need to turn away from it at times, because we can get way too involved in it. But this something whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what you call it, does it? No. But it is that something within us that gives us hope, that gives us hope. What a wonderful name you have. Yes, I love that. All right. So here we are then in this wonderful place. And I want to say that because we have this way of looking at this date, we also are going to have a celebration. And the celebration is going to take place on December 22nd. We're going to have a birthday for the planet. Yes. This is a brand new baby day for this planet when you and I get to set forth our best. When this is the rise, the dawning of something new. And we are going to celebrate. In fact, there are places all over this world that are going to be celebrating on that day, and we are going to be a part of it. So all those details will come to you later. And then we're going to carry it over into the 23rd, when we not only celebrate the birth of the Christ, but we celebrate this new day. What's happening to our planet. How beautiful is that? So I'm so glad that the people who are working on that are allowing us all to be a part of it. Now you see, all this really requires is an open mind, an open heart. And when we give Spirit just even that much of an open mind, it just rushes in. Well, I have to tell you about a time in my life when I doubt that I was even open that much. I doubt it. But you see, Spirit doesn't need very much, because there was something in me that says, girl, you get yourself down to Unity Village. I didn't even know why. But something in me said, go. And so that was the beginning. I think it was in the late 80s when I started my training. And as I did that, I kept wondering, do I really belong here? But something said yes. All right. And I had the idea that I was never going to have to take a Bible class. Because you see, I had Bible up to here. So I didn't want any more of that. How dismayed I was to find out that one of the first classes I had to take was a Bible class. Oh, I can be so naive sometimes. So our teacher was this little woman, Sally Taylor, so powerful. And she would use her down-home sense of humor to really get her point across. And so on the very first day of class, she asked for a show of hands of how many people didn't like the Bible. I think mine was the first one up. And there was maybe half the room full of people who did not like the Bible. And she said, I'm going to guarantee you something right now. That if you give me your attention, if you open your mind, your heart, your inner eyes, your inner ears, I'm going to change everything for you. And you're going to come out of this class loving the Bible. Loving it. Because you are going to see that the stories, she was the Old Testament teacher, you're going to see that those Old Testament stories are yours. You're going to look at them totally different, from a different perspective. You're going to look at them metaphysically, metaphorically. And you're going to see things in your life that you never dreamed of. She was right. I came out of that class loving the Bible, and especially those Old Testament stories. Which brings me to 2001, when I was ordained. And I'm looking right at the man who made a CD for me. Paul Krause, I thank you. I have listened to that CD so many times. It is called Ark of the Heart. And so when he said to me, what's your favorite Bible story? I didn't hesitate a minute, did I? I said, Noah and the Ark. And that story is so important to me because we all have an ark inside. It's our heart. And I can go to this place anytime I want. It's safe. It's peaceful. It's a place where I go to get inspiration to rise above the storms of life. You have that place too. How beautiful it is that we all have it. Well, thank you, my dear man. Thank you for bringing that all to our attention. And then the flood. How great that is. That the flood washes away. When I am in this place, it washes away all the negative thoughts. And what remains is fresh and fertile ground for me to plant some new seeds. New seed thoughts. And what came to me the other day was, I am the light of the world. I have to ask you again, how many of you have that on your mirror? I invited you months ago. All right, I see. You have it on your mirror. I am the light of the world. So when I see my reflection in the mirror, I know what I'm about. I know what I'm to do. Go out into the world and let that light shine. So I invite you, if you don't have that sign on your mirror yet, try it. I think you'll like it. I think you will. So this light of the world is what Jesus told us. See, I didn't make that up, of course. Nobody made it up here. Jesus told us to be the light of the world. So let's be it. The world has a way of taking us away from all of that, doesn't it? It does. The world is a place mostly of reaction. Look at the stock market. Up and down with the good news and the bad news. Social institutions that are out in our society, same way. The choices that people make. Everyone seems to think out there that life is lived out there. It isn't. When you think of all those things that I named before, all the conflama, do you think that that is how we are intended to live? Do you think that we as spiritual beings are to live in a world like that? No, of course not. Instead of being these reactive people, we have creation in here. That's what we are to be, creative, loving, peaceful people. The world also has a way of putting us to sleep. It's like we're on cruise control sometimes. And we are, these white lines on the freeway just keep flicking by us. And those are the events of our lives. We're not paying any attention. If we paid attention to what was going on in this life, we would see that all the events have something to teach us. That there is beauty in so many things that we don't even recognize. We would see so much. This is a time for us now to come alive, to wake up. You know, one of the greatest things for me as a spiritual teacher, I've been doing it for several years now, and one of the greatest things, one of the most satisfying and fulfilling things for me is when I see someone wake up. When they have an aha moment, when they begin to see the light in themselves. A woman came by the other day, and she came in with a question. She said, "What is this place anyway?" And when someone asks a question like that, I have an idea. They don't care what this place is, because they really want to talk about what's going on, the pain that she was feeling inside. She wanted to talk about her life, and she wanted me to give her some kind of hope. And I hope I did. We're not here to convert anybody. I didn't talk about this place. I only talked about her and the light that was within her. That's all she needs to know. And then I just said, come back and talk anytime you want. We're here. So this is something that I think when we say to ourselves, well, what can I possibly do in this life that would make a difference? Everything seems so small. That was a small thing. It might mean a lot to that person. I don't know. All these things that we do, small or not, they are so important. We ask ourselves sometimes, what difference does it make to the world how I think? What difference does it make to the world how I am feeling this day? I think it makes a big difference. Because whatever we put out to the world comes back. So why not put out the best, the very best that we have? You know, Frederick Buechner, the theologian, he said something like, and I'm going to paraphrase, because it was all the moments that we invest even in our own healing. All those moments when we give thanks. And since this is Thanksgiving week, how many times do we give thanks? I hope it reminds us that we need to do it every day. Thank you for my life. On all those moments that we invest in healing and gratitude, he said there is joy. And that joy meets the deep pain of the world. And we ask ourselves, can we do anything to help that pain? Can we do anything to ease the hunger that the world has? And the answer is yes, we can. And yes, we must. Sometimes we think that the things we do are so small, it's like dropping a pebble in the ocean. What's that? But science tells us that that pebble that is now lying at the bottom of the ocean has to lift the level of the water some. It's not enough to measure, but it has to. Every little thing, every pebble we drop, everything we do, all the good words, the actions, the thoughts, the feelings, they all help to uplift us all. So the basic choice we make every day, what is that? To live from love or fear? To live from our ego or to live from our heart? To live from the truth that we are the light of the world? Let's do it. This is the greatest truth of all. And Jesus told us, the Master said, you are that light. Now go live that way. So why not? Let's do it. And I'm going to leave you with the very inspiring words of the 13th century poet Rumi. He says, you were born with potential. You were born with greatness. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn how to use them and fly. That's what we're here to do. And when we all do that, we not only lift ourselves, we lift the whole planet.